And you know what? Trump, everything aside, sometimes give you these nuggets of information that usually don't come your way. And when he says that Putin and Zelensky cannot stand each other and hate each other, that does bring us to that issue that when two leaders of two nations who are at war, when there is no personal chemistry between them, when there is intense dislike between them, it becomes even more significant that a country that has been able to maintain cordial relationship with one and a friendly contact with another brings them together. So, you know, talking about this importance of India's role in possibly trying to bring some peace in that region, do tell us more about it, because we have seen that there has been little bit of, Ukraine's not been very open about how it wants to go ahead with the peace proposal. Putin also has been very adamant on the land issue, how much are they going to give in, how much they want. And EU, recently after Putin's, Russia's attacks on Kyiv, has also become extremely hostile. We are getting these visuals now. Gaurav, I would like to inform you, right now we're getting the visuals of the minute when Prime Minister Modi walked into this reception. He shook hands with the President and his wife as well, posed for the photograph, and once again, after shaking hands, he went ahead to the reception. So those were the visuals of the Prime Minister walking in for that reception that we were talking about. This is an informal occasion for the heads of states to meet and mingle, and you never know what comes out of these informal occasions. But Gaurav continues to be with us. Gaurav, picking up that thought that I was delving into, how important would the SEO be? And also, we've invited Xi Jinping to BRICS. Now, BRICS is something Trump keeps targeting again and again. So these regional summits that we have, how important are these? And now, with there being a possibility of Trump not coming to Quad, how important these regional summits become?
So as far as India is concerned, India takes BRICS very seriously, India takes SCO very seriously, and India takes, even the Quad very seriously, though not, none of these are military groupings. BRICS is an economic grouping. These were the world's most powerful economies that were coming together. Different parts of the world, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and then later South Africa joined, and then other countries want to join. And now there's a long list of countries who want to join the BRICS as a grouping, and that just shows how important and powerful BRICS as a grouping is. America, because there was some conversation about de-dollarization, and India has repeatedly insisted that India is not on board on de-dollarization. So that project is not moving forward, because every decision has to be by consensus, and every founding member has equal say in every decision. So similarly, when Pakistan wanted to be a part of BRICS, it was very effectively vetoed, because you don't want a state sponsor of radical Islamist terror to be a part of the world's fastest growing economies coming together and talking about the betterment of their region, their countries, and the world in general. So this BRICS grouping becomes all the more important right now when you're talking about standing up to Trump's tariff tyranny. And this is where you see BRICS will play a significant role. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has invited the Chinese president to visit India. For next year, India will be hosting the BRICS summit. But then this year, India is also hosting the Quad summit. And will President Donald Trump finally come, or will he back out, or will he back off from here? It remains to be seen, because both Japan and India have adopted a very principled stance on Donald Trump and on his tariffs. Donald Trump, of course, has a different readout of what happened. Japan has a different readout of what transpired between the two. But the fact remains, if two of the four partners are not seeing eye to eye with the United States of America, India would still want this relationship to move forward, because India anyway considers Trump's actions as wrong, unnecessary, arbitrary, and completely uncalled for. And India has done nothing that should have that kind of a response. So is it more to do with Donald Trump on Russia war, or Donald Trump not being recommended for a Nobel Peace Prize, or India saying he had a big role to play in the ceasefire when he didn't have a role to play, or should India have worded it differently, saying that, yeah, he had a role to play in getting Pakistan to back off? There are many issues, that can be argued. But the fact remains, India does not believe in kowtowing, either to America or to China or to anybody else. India is standing tall. There will be, as the Prime Minister said, there will be repercussions, there will be ramifications. He said he'll have personal costs to pay for it, but he's willing to pay that cost for not, kowtowing to America or not doing a sajda to the United States of America, which clearly India is not. And on the other question that you raised, between Russia and Ukraine, frankly, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi had that 5-hour-long discussion with Vladimir Putin, he'd made it very clear, and at SCO earlier also, that this is not an era of war. President Putin also understands that. He says, President Putin apparently is of the opinion that Ukrainian president, within the first week of the special operations in February 2022, had come to the conclusion that this war conflict was unnecessary in Turkey, and it was a Turkey-mediated effort. He had agreed to sign a ceasefire, but Britain had stepped in and said, don't sign a ceasefire, and Boris Johnson had then gone to Kiev, and this war kept lingering on. So it was basically President Putin's impression is that it's Europe and America that were fueling this war, using Ukraine as an excuse. Is that what is happening even now, is the big question. And can India then prevail to ensure that Russia and Ukraine talk to each other and decide a way forward? It does appear extremely different. Why? Because one fact is clear: Russia will not cede any territory that it's gained with the loss of a lot of lives in this war. So that is why, unless Ukraine decides to cede territory, this war will either end up being endless, or there will have to be a change of government, at least in Ukraine.
Right, and this war has impacted many. It has impacted many economies as well. Loss of life is, of course, the biggest issue, but after that is also economies. It pushed up inflation in many countries. It pushed up living costs in many countries. And every time winter comes, it becomes a huge issue. But Europe, it seems to be now finding other sources of energy as well. But energy is also something that is a big issue in this war.